Greetings, family. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mahlatse Mdluli, and today I have Mr. Mdluli with me. And this is Blended Circle with Mahlatse. So welcome to my channel. If you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe, like, and share. And this channel is meant to basically be a support of some sort to blended families, but marriages in general. So I'm hoping that you, as a first timer, are going to get a thing or two that will bring some kind of edification to your life. So welcome and thank you for joining us. And like I said, today I have my husband, and the biggest reason why I have him, it's because this particular episode is meant to just allow us to give some kind of a perspective that we might have concerning a particular case that was presented on Radio 2000. We felt it was necessary for us to actually have this. A friend / a sister of mine, big up to you, she reached out to me and said, this is what I came across. I never thought about this dynamic. I was hoping that you guys could try and cover something like this. It would really be good to hear from you. And I was quite excited because this is what we do. So when I saw it, I was like, yay, I know what to do. And I decided it's going to happen immediately. So this literally came in last week, and yeah, we're here now. So yeah, I'm going to read out the scenario to you so that you know what we're responding to. So this person says, my wife passed away a year ago and I'm dating again. I met this wonderful lady and things are actually getting serious. We're talking marriage, and this issue is that the issue is that my girlfriend does not want my late wife's children. So we were a blended family of 5. So we both came with 2 kids to the marriage, and we had 1 together. So mine live with my ex, which means their biological mom. And then now this guy is left with the 2 kids from the wife and the 1 child they had together. So yeah. And then he says my girlfriend has 1 child and she says she doesn't have a problem blending with my biological kids. She went on to add that my wife's kids are no longer my responsibility and will not marry me if I come with that baggage. I have honored my late wife and did the right thing by her. However, I am ready for this new chapter of my life. I want to marry this woman. What is the right thing to do in this situation? Please help me. Yeah, guys, life is very interesting. First of all, I want to say that I really honor this guy for really holding it down in terms of just continuing to honor the covenant of marriage, because marriage is a covenant. It's not some kind of a in and out kind of a thing. Feelings, we always talk about that. So big up to the guy who decided to stay committed to what they were already, agreed on with the late wife. And secondly, I think this is very complicated because we're hardly ever thinking about that. We're hardly ever thinking about the fact that when you come into the marriage, the kids that you're coming in with could possibly be belonging to someone else who's just not there anymore. And you have to deal with the dynamics that come with those children, even though you have no affiliations with the person that came with those children. So yeah, and for me, this scenario makes me see how the power of looking at blended families as a means to redemption is all about. Because, if we don't look at blended families as a perspective where we're trying to provide a family structure for children and for ourselves, we're not able to then see correctly when it comes to certain things. But today is not about us saying you have to do this or you don't have to do this. This is just our own perspective, and we're hoping that we will leave you guys with even your perspective that you can share on our comments after listening. Yeah. So what do you think of the situation?
Yeah, thanks. It's a very interesting situation. One that is unfortunately not uncommon.
Yeah.
In the environment that we live in today. I think for me, this brings into questions the principles that that constitute a marriage. Firstly,
Yeah.
and then also blended marriage.
Yeah.
With blending a family, I think we our understanding is that you come as you are, and because the situation is less than perfect, there is an acceptance of the situation and a willingness to make it work.
Yeah.
Now, that is assuming you want to blend.
Yes. Okay.
Because it is clear that the girlfriend is not interested in blending in the fullest extent of blending.
Okay.
She has an understanding of blending, and she needs to be respected for that.
Yeah.
For her understanding. But if we're talking purely on the concept of blending, when we get into that situation and we accept it, we accept that it is less than perfect, and we don't pick and choose the circumstances in which it must be established. So you accept the situation for what it is, but you determine within yourself to make it work.
Yeah.
So that for me, that's the blended aspect. I don't know if you want to comment before we talk about marriage, because he is looking at marriage as well.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the blended aspect as well, for me, what I'm seeing is that the lady does acknowledge that there's a blending that needs to happen. Obviously, she finds it easier to acknowledge that because she herself has a child that she has to walk into the marriage with, or the relationship with. So, so I think her acknowledging of the fact that there's blending that needs to happen is a great thing. And I also really, how can I put it? I applaud her for even giving herself the power to choose, like for giving herself the right to choose what she can live with and what she can't live with. However, in the brief, the guy says she has mentioned that the children of the late wife are no longer his responsibility. And this is where I beg to differ in a way, because I feel like that's not even her decision to make. That's definitely not her decision to make. And I feel like the guy in this instance has to choose what he holds dearly and values more in this instance, which means whatever decision that he made however many years ago when they got married to the late wife gets to be something he considers to still be alive or not. So that part, I really feel she pretty much I think she encroached into the guy's space and territory of deciding, because I feel like that's not her place to decide. Yeah.
Yeah, look, just to add to that, the definition of blended or your understanding, it is your understanding.
Yeah.
And she has an understanding that is not compatible with his understanding. And you are right, it becomes a function of his convictions. That when I married this person and accepted her children as mine, it was not dependent on my marriage to her or her continued existence. Because your role as a husband may have ended, but your role as a father continues. And your role as a father cannot be limited by blood.
Yeah. I hear you.
In as much as she's coming with a child, which I'm sure she has an expectation of the guy fathering.
Yeah.
To a man, if I would say it, being a father is very inherent, I should say. It should come naturally. To look after, to provide for, and if it's usually the mother of the child that can impose conditions to your fatherhood.
Yeah.
But with men, generally, you are a father, and you should be the same father or to a father to different people. If your understanding of fatherhood is that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you're right, she may have encroached on his purview, but it is up to his convictions. What does he believe is the right thing to do?
Yeah.
And then talking about family or marriage, not just a blended marriage, but marriage in general. I think it is important to understand we have the Bible as our standard, right? So the understanding of marriage is a man leaving mother and father to be joined to the woman so that they become one. That definition precludes your children. So mother and father is synonymous with where you come from.
Yeah.
So that would include your brother and sister, your extended family. But your children are what come out of you, so it's not part of that.
Of where you come from, yeah.
Yes. So in marrying, it wouldn't be right for a man to leave behind his own issue, his own seed, and say they are going to
They are part of
marry.
his future.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are part of him. So, with that understanding, in this case, while the lady says, I'm happy with your children, blending with your children, if you have made a covenant of marriage that what is yours shall be mine, so by extension, your children shall be my children, and then that person happens to pass away, to renege on that agreement would be a reneging on that covenant, because they have become your children. They cannot unbecome
Yes, I
your
hear
children.
you. I hear you. And especially in this case, that there wasn't divorce or anything like that, where someone chooses that I'll walk away, so they walk away with their children or something like that. So it's very unfortunate. And I also believe that I'll keep reiterating the fact that I really am proud of the woman for exercising her right to choose, and I'll acknowledge her concerns, because if you feel that's the capacity you have for this journey that you're about to embark on, it's good for you to acknowledge your capacity, what you are capable of carrying and taking on. Because at the end of the day, I always say children belong to their mothers, they're their mother's children, because women give some kind of a tone and some kind of the influence is much more from mothers when it comes to children's perception, of life. So at the end of the day, it's the woman who does a lot of building and investment in parenting and taking care of everyone in the home. So it is important for her to exercise that right to decide whether this is something I can take on or not. And I think I'm hoping that it was more like a suggestion or something. And for the guy, I'd say that it's important for him to check his value system and his convictions. However, there is also a part to consider in terms of when you want to move on with your life. And this seems a bit of a difficult one to look at. There's many options to explore. We always say people must design their own journey because it's theirs. It's your marriage. It doesn't belong to anyone else. So trying too hard to match societal expectations can be very difficult for an individual or for a marriage, for a couple. So it's important for them to decide for themselves what will work for them, because even for the man, people can vilify him if he chose that, okay, you know what, I'm going to try and find the relatives of these children and rather have them put up, with someone who's willing to live with them and raise them while with my support. Someone can say, how can you abandon your children for the sake of marriage or whatever the case may be? So there's many perspectives that people can throw into this, judgments that are miscalculated. And I'm always careful to not allow myself to judge something, with an ill-informed, background. So I'd rather say that they should do what works for them. It's very important for them to just measure up, or what is it that they can take and what is it that they can't take. And for the sake of the children, because the children, sometimes we can force that they say, okay, there's an expectation. The man has the kids. It's like an adoption, really, that he has done in this instance. So adopting a child, you don't get to decide, today I feel this way, so I can't have the child anymore. When you've adopted the child, you've adopted the child. They become a part of you. So the only thing in this instance is that the children might do better if they went to a grandparent, or might do better if they went to an aunt or a younger sister to the late wife or something like that, or an older sister to the late wife, because you want to put them up in a space where they are safe. and they won't be affected by whatever the couple decides at the end of the day. Because we have to look at what's practical. Situations are different for different people. Sometimes your siblings are not the best option to look at. Some people don't have the best relationships with their siblings. They don't have the best relationships with their parents. So that's a no-go area sometimes. But sometimes that is functional. It's better than keeping the child where they're almost like unwanted in a way. And just to take back to some of the lessons we have taught here on this channel, where we have encouraged people to understand that they are not forced to just, to be almost, how can I put it, to submit to the prerequisite of a person saying, if you love my kids, then, the love part is one thing. I mean, the accepting is another. Because if you say, I accept your children, I'm good with that. But I can't say you have to fall in love with my child. You have to like my child. You have to. That's something that you must build over time. So we want to be able to still open this couple to that option. Yeah? Or you have the journey. It's a journey they have to work on together, And people must really consider counseling as much as possible, because such cases cannot just be thrown out there and someone has a straight answer for you. Sometimes there's context that we must get from such cases so that we can make you see the different options that are available, because sometimes it's fear that's talking. By the time this person is saying, no, I'm sorry, but I can't take the other kids that don't belong to you particularly, it's from a place of fear. They're not sure they can do it. They're not sure how they will relate with those children. So there's something limiting them to some extent, and something that people can teach you that can break that wall, and just give you a fresh perspective. And it might be a blessing to have a family of 8, because maybe you're going to have 2 more children because you're coming in with 1 child, and maybe you still want 2 more kids. So that for her, she's thinking of her future, that I get in here and there's 5 kids already, and I'm coming with 1. It's already 6. I wanted 2. So now it's going to be 8 children. I don't know if I can handle that. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's a bit too late for that. But if they're really considering the proceeding with the marriage, I think the things that you have highlighted are very important. They need to take what is comfortable to them.
Yeah.
But the aspect of getting more information is very important.
Yes.
Because
yes.
You may find that with more information, the thing becomes more attractive.
Yeah, it really gives perspective, and that thing will be...
the prospects and the opportunity to create something wonderful, not just for yourselves, but for the children who, despite having different surnames, can actually learn to become a family. It is an experience like no other, but only if you are open to it.
Yeah.
But I think finally what I wanted to just add is, in him deciding to create a family, like he's talking marriage now, it's very important to base that marriage on something that is more enduring than feeling.
Yeah.
Not to say that no, he must look after the children or honor his ex-wife, but we've learned that if you base it on how you feel alone, you may end up in trouble because your feelings change. And there is a season of being in love, there are other seasons. And so if your basic motivation for getting married is solely love, it then removes all the other factors that may be also important.
Yeah.
So you want to enter that union,
Sure.
having considered all other relevant factors, and then use principle, for lack of a better word, or values as a basis for entering into the marriage, rather than it just feels right. Because in as much as it may feel right and it may be perfect, tomorrow it may feel different. So I think from my side, the bottom line is that get empowered before you make that decision, rather than just using what you have before you to make that decision.
I hear you. Sure. Yeah. Get empowered. I think ultimately that's it, guys. We do perish for lack of knowledge. We do. And whenever we don't know something, it just creates some kind of a fear factor, you know. I always say that fear is just a sign of gray area, ignorance. There's something that you are not informed about that makes you now anxious about that particular thing. But once light comes, light is knowledge, it sets you free. It sets you free from any kind of fear. So all of this for me, I'm just seeing fear factors. It's just fear more than, something that's very informed. And yeah, that's it. I think that's where we'll leave it. So for today, I hope you'll be able to also share your perspective in the comments. I'd really love to hear from you guys. And thank you for continuing to interact with us. It's getting more interesting now. I mean, people are really bringing it on, you know, and it's getting exciting. So please do the same, even in this episode. Share your thoughts. Would really love to hear what you think of the situation, and whatever other topics, that you can possibly want us to deal with on the channel are more than welcome. We're working on the ones that have been suggested before. We're planning for them. Some of them need a lot of groundwork. Some of them need perspectives of other people that we want to sort of bring on to the channel to also deal with those areas. So we're not doing it. We're just working on it, so that we are giving you something a bit more, cooked enough for you to then take part in and be able to use for your lives. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your time. Continue to please subscribe, share, like, and hit the notification bell so that you know when we put up the next installment. And yeah, thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for the word of encouragement that you guys always put out there in the comments. I really appreciate that a lot. On the social media platforms, Facebook, Mahlatse Mdluli, you'll find me there, Instagram. Thank you for all the people that have been liking my reels, all the advertisements that I'm putting up there on the coming episodes and the new episodes that are up. Yeah, I really appreciate the love, and please keep sending that love out there. It does something. It means something to me. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this has been The Circle with Mahlatse. I am definitely on a mission to redeem communities, one family at a time. I'm excited to see what God is doing in families. And I know that one day we will be definitely reaping the fruits. We'll be bringing up testimonies on this channel. I can't wait for that season to come. Right now, we're just seeding and seeding and seeding, and I know something will yield. So share it with a family. Save a family, please. God bless you.